All right, welcome everyone to this very special segment where we dig into the life of Albern Murty and we try to understand what made the man the man. So Albern, welcome to the show. It's really good to have you here with us. I want to dig into 4 things today. First, you took Digi to partner with Celcom and merge 2 big corporate giants together. And what happened there? How did that transpire? And finally, I want to talk about some lessons on how you're taking this new organization forward in this age of AI and technology. So let's start with the first part. And then came that big explosion, right? That dialogue with Axiata, I guess, to talk about how do we merge these 2, number 1 and number 2, essentially, into one entity, one superpower. How did that come about? And what was some of the things that you were thinking about and struggling with? And also, how did you ensure at the end of the day this was going to be something? Because many times a big company, or 2 dinosaurs doesn't mean a tiger, right? Likewise, 2 tigers doesn't mean it's going to be a super tiger, right? So I'm sure those were thoughts that were percolating. So what was happening and how did it all play out?
Yeah, so the merger of equals happened between Axiata and Telenor as shareholders, main shareholders, of both Celcom and Digi. Digi was a publicly listed company at that point of time. And the market was, as Roshan mentioned, was getting tougher and tougher to operate in. So it was a very competitive market, high demand. It's the only product that has an extremely high demand, internet and connectivity, but prices keep dropping year on year. So if you look at the economics of scale, you will see that cost of communication is coming down, utilization is going up, right? So we needed to ensure that we are able to sustain growth and also able to provide connectivity and good connectivity to Malaysia. And therefore, we saw an opportunity to merge 2 organizations that had 2 different strengths. One had infrastructure and the capability of the network and service level that was very good. And the other one had the brand and the capability to reach segments very well, which was a fantastic complement for each other. So when we decided to do that, we've merged now for almost 3 years, 2.5 years, and it's gone better than I would have expected. 2 big organizations merging. We've been able to do infrastructure, so our network is consolidated almost more than 80% now as we speak. We have 20 million customers. How many of you are CelcomDigi customers? Maybe I should ask, how many of you are not CelcomDigi customers? I have an opportunity then to sell you a CelcomDigi plan after this.
Here we go.
Yeah. Roshan, you need to upgrade your plan soon. And I think we looked at the opportunity to say, okay, now how do we actually serve 20 million customers on a great network? So today we are humbled when we are number 1 in terms of serving these customers. Comes with huge expectations. So the organization had to also grow up rapidly. We had to merge 2 cultures of companies. We had leaders from 2 different companies, slightly different style, similar aspirations of wanting to lead the market and be market leaders, but very different style and execution. You'll see some of these pictures at the back here as it plays out. It's just these 2 companies coming together post the merger. And we started to do things, best practices of 2 companies. We started to do more of those. And the worst practices or the bad practices of the 2 companies, we started to drop. And that was something that we quickly did very early on. The best decision that we took, within the first month of merger, we actually named the top 400 leaders in the company. Very fast. Most companies would have run separately for a while, and then after 6 months or a year, decide to merge the leaders. We decided to do that in day 1. So Dato' Idham, who's not here today, who's the CEO of CelcomDigi, he had the same aspiration as I did, which is, you fix the culture, you can fix any IT, any network, any issues that you have. I think we wanted to just focus on the people first, and that's what we did.
So what were some of the things you did to fix culture? I mean, or merge, or to integrate it into that one singular culture?
Yeah. It's a cliche, huh? It starts from the top, but it starts from the top. I think from day 1, during the whole merger, preparation for the merger, the top C-levels and the C-1s and the C-2, there was an expectation given to us to say that you guys have to make sure that this works. And it was a clear mandate from the shareholders, and therefore we were clear that from a shareholder perspective, we had to do it. But actually, it was very easy to do because both companies was looking forward to being number 1. And when you have that sort of common goal, you sort of just come together. Yes, there are pockets. So don't let me say that everything was rosy. There are pockets of challenges, like any merger, this is one of the largest mergers that the country has seen. And like any merger, there's always a worry of culture, whether everybody can work together, whether it's, whether we are profitable, whether we're going to grow, not grow. So all those worries are still there. But we've managed to do that step by step with a lot of support from shareholders, but also consultants and good leaders. So it's worked really well, I have to say. And I'm actually energized for the merger. And it's been going better than expected because of the people that we have.
And it is surprising because most mergers don't generally live up to the potential that is being built up to, right? But not only that, right? I mean, let's talk about the future a little bit and pivot to AI and technology and so on. You've sort of, together, your leadership team has pivoted CelcomDigi into a tech-first company. And what does that mean? What's the journey ahead? And how, you have the merger in the background happening and working on all those other things, but at the same time, being able to build a future while you integrate two entities is quite a Herculean task, right? To say, tell us a bit about that struggle and that story and how it's unfolding.
Yeah, so it's like BAU. So you have a business to run. So two companies, 20 million customers. You had customers on Celcom, you had customers on Digi. You had to merge the customer experience. So for those of you who are CelcomDigi customers, you know that you still have separate, sometimes, experiences that you're a Celcom customer or a Digi customer. All that will go away by end of 2026 when the transformation for an IT system happens. And that's really the decision that we took. So while running business day to day and keeping the network up, IT up, service level up, customer satisfaction, we are doing a huge transformation which will allow us to also include AI and other capabilities, because we said we're not going to do this twice. We're just going to do this once. And we said that we're going to do a transformation that then enables us to leapfrog what we intend to do at the future position. So you will have a brand new company by the start of 2027 from a fully integrated network and IT, and that will then enable us to do much better customer service delivery using AI, but using the heart, mind, and the tummy at the same time to make a good judgment, not just AI, which is a tool that we will use, but really just bringing all the IT infrastructure that enables us to serve our customers much better.
And at a more operating level, I mean, is there AI being embedded in your operations?
Yeah, so we've been using AI sort of tools for a long time. Both companies have been, and now we do it even more in terms of, for example, doing collation of customer information, customer verification, revenue traction, making sure there's no revenue loss. So those things, yes, we do it. It's built both internally and externally. You will see for our customers, we will be launching a new customer app soon, a CelcomDigi app at some point in the future. We will be integrating AI into that so that there'll be a lot of self-help menu, but also we will do what we would call personalization to the customer. All that is great, but if you don't get the basics right, and if you don't have a connection with your customers on the ground, and the channels and the dealers and the distributors that have been helping two companies for the last 20 plus years, it will fail. Regardless if you have the best AI, the IT, the basic stuff that you need, and the connectivity and that feeling the pulse of the service that you give people, you will fail.
And you still do that, right?
Yeah, we still do that.
You still go down to the ground.
We still do that.
I know from back then, you were a big advocate of that.
Yeah, we still do that. So we talk to our customers. So I think one of the brand promises that we've said is we're not going to shy away from talking to customers. And I think as leaders, when you go into this whole AI space, let's not fool ourselves that we can now sit back and relax and stay away from customers. It's actually on the contrary. Everybody's going to have that same capability. Your competitors, everybody's going to be able to do that. If they can afford it, they will have the exact same system that you have. The key differentiation is how you're going to use it, and the team that uses it needs to think out of the box, but also you cannot lose touch with the people that are actually buying or using your products. And if you have people in the organization that are shy to do that, they're probably in the wrong roles. They're probably in the wrong roles.
So I'm going to close out with one or two leadership questions. Right? And one is, if you were to go back and whisper to your 30-year-old self 20, 25 years ago.
A long time ago.
I know, for many of us. But if you were to go back and whisper, hey, do this differently, what sort of advice would you give your 30-year-old self, if you could look back and change something?
Yeah, I think the only advice I would give myself is actually run faster. I'll probably run a lot faster and take a little bit more risk in trying new things, but also making sure that I would not have done anything differently when it comes to focus on people and culture.
Yep. And do you have a leadership rhythm? Stuff that, I mean, we just now, Noor talked about 85%, 95% is habits, essentially, right? Do you have a leadership rhythm that you think works for you?
Actually, I don't.
Okay.
Actually, I don't. And I think some people do, and that's right. But I don't. I actually get a lot of momentum or rhythm from the people that I surround myself with.
So you get energized by each and every one of them.
That's right.
I just want to close out with one final question. If you were to give advice to all the people in the audience, what sort of advice would you impart, especially business leaders that are looking to build that kind of transformation, right? Transform one entity, but then make it even more bigger by that merger. I mean, being strategic about it, and then ultimately taking that bigger entity to greatness, right?
I think the first thing to do is to not rely so much on consultants as leaders. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's what most companies do. We actually outsource the problem to someone else. I think we made the same mistake in some areas too, to be very honest. And I think the first part is actually sitting down together as a team and listening to the people that have been running this business for a long time, and our engineers and our marketeers and our retail people who actually see customers every day. Right. Understand whether we are really trying to solve a problem by that transformation, or are we just transforming a transformation into a transformation into a transformation, which then ends up being a mess. So I think that's the first step I would really urge everybody to think about. Second part is, once you identify the areas that you are really going to change and that there is a significant impact either on revenue or cost or on people or culture or performance, then bring in the experts that you may not have in the team. And then you lift it up, and then you need to have a really good team to execute, and execute.
Albern, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much. Let's give a big, warm thank you to Albern Murty from CelcomDigi. Albern, thank you so much.